A few minutes after 9 on Tuesday, January 11th, 2022. This is the meeting of the Iroquois County Board. Will clerk call the roll, please?
Alt, Bard, Behrens,
Here.
Bodger,
Here.
Bowman, Bowers,
Here.
Kokenauer, Crow, Curtis, Ducat,
Here.
Hughes, Johnson, Lynch, McGinnis,
Here.
McTaggart, Awful, Penny,
Here.
Sure,
Yep.
Young,
Yes.
Zumwalt.
Present.
Okay, Mr. Young.
This morning we have Tom Stalk from the Apostolic Christian Church at Fiscal Park to lead us in prayer. If you want to say a few words, then I'll stand.
I would like to say a few words. And I'll be brief. When you ask the preacher to have a prayer, sometimes you get a little bit more. I just had to think, as I was really warmed when Joe said, would you come and open our meeting with a prayer, that you begin the meetings here with prayer. Appreciate that. And I had to think about it on the way up that, you ask yourselves, why are we here? Why are you individuals in the seats where you are here? And we might say, well, it's because you ran for an office and you won the election. But the Bible says the powers that be are ordained of God. So I hope you look at it as a calling. So I sat down to breakfast this morning, my Bible opened in James 2, and it says that we should not have respect of persons. And I hope that you, as you discharge your duties that you've been called to, that you do that, and that God would bless the activities that you have before you today. I see a lot of papers on your desk. I know you have a lot to talk about, so let's all rise now for prayer. We come before a great God and Father in heaven who looks down upon all men and now to see all things and understand all things, even our hearts, each one of us, better than we know ourselves. We're thankful for the opportunity that we have to call upon Thee as our Father who art in heaven. And we just pray Thy blessing upon these souls here who have gathered today. There's business to conduct, there are decisions to make, and we just pray that all can be done in a way that would honor Thee and that would be for the benefit and for the service of those whom they are called to serve. So just pray Thy blessing upon this. We're thankful that we can have a hope of eternal life in Jesus Christ, who came to give Himself on the cross of Calvary, that whosoever will may come and have salvation and hope of eternal life. So bless the time and the efforts of each one who has been placed here in this position today to serve on our county board, and bless their activities is our prayers. We ask it in Jesus' name. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, everyone has a copy of the agenda in front of them. I believe that I'd like to make a motion that under the item E for committee reports, the Finance Committee, item number 2, for a resolution in support of law enforcement professionals be moved up and placed right in between public comments and chairman comments.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Are there any questions or comments about the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Should take care of approving the agenda as well. Everyone was sent a copy of the minutes for the December session. We have a motion to approve the minutes. Mr. Ducat, is there a second? Mr. Bowers, are there any questions or comments regarding those minutes? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That motion passes. Next is the payroll. Mr. Young, is there a second? Mr. Ducat, are there any questions or comments regarding the payroll? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll, please.
Alt. Barons.
Yes.
Bodger.
Yeah.
Bowers.
Yes.
Crowe. Yes. Curtis. Ducat.
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
McGinnis.
Yes.
Penny.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
Zumwalt.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, do we have any public comments this morning? Yes. Mr. Alt.
I see nowhere else in our agenda where this would fit. I think this is the nearest one because I can also talk as a public member. I am embarrassed in how the selection for the renter of the county farm went this past month or 2 months. I think we were on borderline acting very improperly. I won't explain that. I will say I'm glad I had acted like I did. I know a lot of people didn't think it was right. I still stand by it. I may discuss it with you if you want to. I may choose not to as well. Thank you.
Are there any other public comments this morning? Seeing none, then the next item on the agenda, the resolution in support of law enforcement professionals and demanding the repeal of House Bill 3653, the Safety Act, in its entirety. I'd like to read that resolution. Whereas for generations, the brave men and women of the law enforcement community have answered the call to serve and protect our communities. Our law enforcement officers embody the courage and honor that represent the best of the state, county, and local jurisdictions throughout the state of Illinois. And whereas in moments of danger and desperation, the first people we turn to are law enforcement officers. These often unsung heroes risk their lives so that we can live in peace and security. And whereas enduring long shifts in dangerous and unpredictable circumstances, our law enforcement officers demonstrate remarkable self-control and operate under extreme pressure with uncommon professionalism. They deal with complex, challenging situations and see the worst elements of humanity in the underbelly of society. Situations to which most citizens have the privilege of turning a blind eye. And whereas we owe dutiful respect and humble gratitude to the law enforcement officers who work tirelessly with honor, dedication, and integrity to protect us and sacrifice so much to maintain and defend civil order in our community. And whereas on January 13th, 2021, the Illinois General Assembly passed House Bill 3653, which sponsors of the bill called the Safety Act, and abolished cash bail, hinders law enforcement's ability to apprehend offenders, fails to protect victims, and emboldens criminals by removing consequences. And whereas the new law created a task force to study qualified immunity for police officers, created an anonymous compliant process to pressure officers, and made dangerous changes in the use of force by officers, putting both the public and law enforcement at risk. It changed the standards for felony murder to make it more difficult to charge some of our society's most dangerous perpetrators. Whereas the Iroquois County Board feels this new law has made the job of protecting the public more difficult for law enforcement officers, and whereas the Iroquois County Board believes law enforcement is essential to protecting lives, property, and businesses, and firmly supports law enforcement officers at state, county, and local levels who put their lives at risk every day to serve and protect our community. Now therefore be it resolved by the Iroquois County Board of Iroquois County, Illinois, that the Iroquois County Board thanks the law enforcement officers who stand every day as our guardians of peace and order, ready to protect our families and businesses and our very freedoms. Number 2, the Iroquois County Board publicly acknowledges our support and appreciation for the commitment and sacrifice made by every member of the law enforcement community to keep the public safe. The Iroquois County Board recognizes the importance of continuing to foster positive interactions between state, county, and local law enforcement officers and members of our community. The Iroquois County Board acknowledges the rising trends in law enforcement response calls relating to mental health, domestic abuse, and addiction, and recognizes the need to support our community and our law enforcement officers with appropriate resources to help properly respond to these societal challenges. The Iroquois County Board recognizes the importance of continuing to promote diversity in our law enforcement recruiting efforts and to invest in our police officer training and professional development programs. The Iroquois County Board acknowledges that law enforcement officers oftentimes take it upon themselves to demonstrate random acts of generosity and kindness throughout our community, and do so without any desire for fanfare or public recognition. The Iroquois County Board encourages our fellow residents, business, civic groups, and sister agencies to do all in their power and spheres of influence to express their appreciation and support of our state, county, and local law enforcement officers. Be it further resolved by the Iroquois County Board of Iroquois County, Illinois, that we demand the Illinois General Assembly to value and protect crime victims and law enforcement, those that are on the streets protecting the community and public every day. And be it further resolved that we demand the Illinois General Assembly repeal House Bill 3653, the Safety Act, in its entirety. Do I have a motion to approve that resolution? Mr. Young. Would you care to make the motion, Mr. Young?
Yes. I move that we adopt resolution R 2022. A resolution in support of law enforcement professionals and demand the repeal of House Bill 3653, the Safety Act, in its entirety.
Okay. And would you like to have the resolution sent?
I think it should be sent to the Governor, President of the Senate, the Speaker of the House, Senator Barrington, and also to our state representative, Tom Bennett.
Very good. Is there a second to the motion? Mr. Hughes. Are there any questions or comments regarding the motion to express our appreciation to the law enforcement officers and to demand the repeal of House Bill 36? Seeing no questions or comments, the clerk will call the roll, please.
Alt.
Yes.
Behrens.
Yes.
Butcher.
Yes.
Bowers.
Yes.
Crowe.
Yes.
Curtis.
Yes.
Ducat.
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
McGinnis.
Yes.
Kenny.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
Zumwalt.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, Sheriff Brzee, would you come forward, please? It's my pleasure to present you with some signed copies of the resolution. Would you please distribute them to your men with our best wishes and appreciation for all they do. There are no words to express our feelings, believe me.
Thank you, sir. I didn't know I was gonna have to speak, but, I definitely appreciate the county board's support and the support of our officers and the citizens of Repeal County. We'll do everything we can do to protect the citizens and do right by the county. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, we'll move on to outside organization reports. Do we have any outside organization reports today? So we can move on to the committee reports. First one will be the management committee. Mr. Barnes.
Mr. Chairman and members of the county board, your committee to whom was referred management services is by leave to submit the following report on matters before them. The committee met at the administrative center on January 3rd, 2022 at 9 a.m. Members present were Barron, Bowers, Crowe, Ducat, Zumwalt, Kevin Bowman, and Sherry Johnson were absent. Also present, County Board Chairman John Kerr, County Board Member Charlie Alt, Finance Manager Jill Johnson, Maintenance Supervisor Chris Drake, 911 Director Eric Raymond. The meeting was called to order. It was moved by Paul Bowers and seconded by John Zumwalt to approve the agenda. Motion carried by a voice vote. There were no public comments. Maintenance Supervisor Chris Drake report includes the following. Paprika Business Solution, formerly Smart Watt, emailed a year two measure and verification report. Their guaranteed savings of the energy performance project was $35,018, and their verified savings over the past year was $39,305. This is a savings surplus of $4,287 for the county. The full report is available for review in the county board office. Drake reported that with the snow and ice 44 bag, the salt had to be applied, but no fine was needed. The elevator at the courthouse was having door closure issues. It was discussed that it will need refurbishing in the future. The jail toilet and the oven had to be repaired. All electric repairs had to be addressed with the outside lights located at the administrative building. There's a request to take down the tree located outside the treasurer's office. Donna Crowe inquired about the tilt claim, and Drake explained that they have come out frequently due to what gets put down the drain. A grinder for the septic was discussed. The bids for the bathroom, conference room, hallway, and break room were open. There was one bid submitted by Terry Services Inc. The cost of $22,500 included the following: bathroom, remove all fixtures, cap off one lavatory and one toilet, replaced with normal ADA compliant partitions, plumbing fixtures, grab bars, and faucets. Patching tile floor with the closest match, reuse paper towel dispensers, infant changing table, and mirror. Code required emergency lighting fixtures be installed. Patching all walls in the bathroom and repainting. Remove and replace all code base in the bathroom. Half improvement hallway, remove all stove base and replace. Remove all adhesive on walls, fix drywall where needed, and painting all walls. Break room, remove kitchen sink faucets, remove old electric stove, remove all lower and upper cabinets, and remove all coat base. Fix all drywall and painting. Install new lower and upper cabinets on both sides of the room. Install new countertops and new kitchen sink and faucet. New electrical circuits for the microwave oven and refrigerator. Install and installation after short discussion. Howard made the motion to accept Harry Services Inc. bid. Remodel the break room, conference room, hallway, and bathrooms for the amount of $22,500. And second by Zumwalt, motion carried by roll call vote. So the county farm soil test received from Pro Ag Consulting was reviewed. The results were as follows: pH level 6.4, phosphorus level 66, potassium level 205, organic matter level 3.3, cation exchange capacity level 12.1. There's no fertilizer costs are up from previous years. We won't make the motion put up for fertilizer bids at a low and high rate. Bowers recommended the motion, or Bowers seconded the motion. Motion carried by a roll call vote. County farm tile work project will be put on the agenda next month for further discussion, so it can be put out. Veterans Appointment Committee start thinking about what changes they would want to see to the county farm lease before the next renewal. The committee reviewed the claims. It was moved by Powers, second by Paul, to pay the claims, second by County Board. Subject to County Board approval, the roll call vote was taken, motion carried. During old business, Finance Manager Jill Johnson gave an update on animal control building bids. Bid packets were sent out to the two vendors that were interested, and that there is one bid turned into the county clerk's office. Bids are being accepted until January 28th, 2022, and will be opened at the January 31st, 2022 management meeting. There was no new business. If there was no further business come before the committee, it was moved by Yukon, second by Zumwalt, to adjourn at 9:45 a.m. Motion carried. All of which is respectfully submitted and moved for adoption.
There's a motion on the floor to approve the management committee report. Is there a second? Mrs. Crowe. Are there any questions or comments regarding the report? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll, please.
Bowers,
Yes.
Crowe. Yes. Curtis.
Yes.
Ducat.
Yes.
Hughes. McGinnis.
Yes.
Penny.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
Zumwalt.
Yes.
Alt.
Yes.
Barron.
Yes.
Bodger.
Yes.
Okay, next is the Health Committee. Members of the County Board, your committee to whom was referred health was begged leave to submit the following report on the matters before them. Your committee met at the Administrative Center on January 4, 2022 at 9 a.m. Members present were Bard and Curtis. Kuchenauer, Tom Lynch, and Barb Apple were absent. Also present, County Board Chairman Sherd, Finance Manager Joe Johnson, and ICPHD Administrator D. Shipper. The meeting was called to order. It was moved by Curtis and seconded by Sherd to approve the agenda. That motion carried by a voice vote. The committee reviewed the claims. It was moved by Curtis and seconded by Sherd to pay the claims, subject to County Board approval. A roll call vote was taken. That motion carried. There were no public comments. Finance Manager Joe Johnson reported there are currently 4 dogs being kept by the county. Open cases include a bite case in Gilman and an assisted police case by picking up 4 dogs in Milford. The animal control officers closed 5 cases during the month. There was 1 animal bite, 1 relinquishment, and 3 stray pickups. The registration deposit for December was $5,200. Johnson praised the Kankakee County Animal Control and the Ford County Animal Control for all the assistance that they have provided. Johnson reminded the committee that the animal control building bids are due on January 28, 2022. ICPHD Administrator D. Shipper reviewed the summary report of programs for fiscal year 2022 with the committee. Environmental Health performed 32 food inspections, 1 re-inspection, and issued 114 permits. There were 10 water sample kits tested. Also, 15 new well inspections were performed and issued 7 permits for new wells. Issued 6 permits for sealed wells and performed 4 inspections for sealed wells. Environmental Health completed 3 private sewage inspections. There were 35 tobacco compliance inspections, 1 body art inspection, and 1 sewage complaint investigation for the year. There were 27 garbage waste haulers inspected. Immunizations include 14 childhood immunizations, 3 adult immunizations, 17 flu shots, 3 pneumonia shots, and 460 COVID-19 vaccinations. In the tuberculosis program, there was 1 skin test given. The jail program included an assessment of 10 inmates during the fiscal year. Vision screenings were provided for 174 children, and hearing screenings were provided for 305 children. There were no animal bite investigations for December. Senior Services is providing care for 183 individuals. Shepherd updated the committee on COVID-19, stating there has been a tremendous increase in cases. Shepherd reported the following statistics: 238 new cases last week, 1 COVID-19 outbreak, 5,538 cases to date, 89 individuals have passed away with COVID-19, ages 5 to 11, 6.9% vaccinated, ages 12 to 17, 28.75% vaccinated, ages 18 to 64, 49.62% vaccinated, ages 65 and over, 78.46% vaccinated. Shepherd stated the unvaccinated population is what is being seen more and more in serious hospitalization cases. Younger and healthy individuals are passing away with the COVID-19 virus. The vaccine does not prevent people from getting the COVID-19 virus, but it does help to avoid serious health outcomes that could last a lifetime. She went on to explain the importance of the antibodies that help to fight off the virus. Vaccination rates have been on the rise. It was expressed how important it is to abide by the guidelines and to stay at home when sick. Assistance is available through the ICPHD to help with groceries and other necessities. Shepherd also commented on how more people need to be vaccinated before there can even begin to be some control over the COVID-19 virus. There was no old business, there was no new business. As there was no further business to come before the committee, it was moved by Curtis and seconded by Scherer to adjourn at 9:35 a.m. That motion carried by a voice vote, all of which is respectfully submitted, signed by all members present, and I move for the adoption of the report. Is there a second? Mr. Duquette, are there any questions or comments regarding this report? One point I would like to make in connection with the rise in the COVID cases, the report that I received yesterday indicates that last week we had 410 new cases in this county. So you can see we're going in the wrong direction. Seeing that there's no further questions or comments, clerk will call the roll, please.
Crowe?
Yes.
Curtis?
Yes.
Duquette?
Yes.
Hughes? McGinnis?
Yes.
Penny?
Yes.
Scherer?
Yes.
Young?
Yes.
Zumwalt?
Yes.
Alt?
Yes.
Barron?
Yes.
Bodger?
Yes.
And Bowers?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Next is the tax committee, Mr. McGinnis.
Mr. Chairman and members of the county board, your committee to whom is referred tax zoning would beg leave to submit the following report. on the matters before them. Your committee met at the Administrative Center on January 11th, 2022 at 9:45 a.m. Members present were Roger Bard, Ernie Curtis, and Chad McGinnis. Kevin Kokenauer and Barbara Alfo were absent. Also present, County Board Chairman John Schur, Finance Manager Jill Johnson, Treasurer Kurt Albers, County Clerk Brianne Silver, Supervisor of Assessments Bob Yergler, IC PhD Administrator Dee Schiffer, William Hornbuckle, and Brian Havens. The meeting was called to order. It was moved by Chad McGinnis and seconded by Ernie Curtis to approve the agenda. Motion carried by voice vote. The committee reviewed the claims. It was moved by McGinnis and seconded by Curtis to pay the claims subject to County Board approval. A roll call vote was taken. Motion carried. There were no public comments. The department heads gave their monthly reports. County Clerk Brianne Suver reported that letters have been mailed to the clerks of all the taxing bodies requesting their list of persons required to file a statement of economic interest, which will subsequently be mailed in March to all those named and required to file. There is continued work with environmental health, finishing up waste hauler inspections and permitting. Suver presented the new county board district maps that were created by Bruce Harris and Associates, the county GIS vendor. She explained that there will be more layers added onto the GIS map, including county board, congressional district, and state, house, and senate layers. Supervisor of Assessments Bob Yergler has agreed to pay for this project from the GIS fund. Lastly, she is currently working with the U.S. Imaging and Fiddler County Reporting Software vendor to microfilm documents from 2003 to 2008. County Treasurer Kurt Albers reported the office is completing regular day-to-day business. Supervisor of Assessments Bob Yergler reported that the year-end work is being completed. He noted that in January there will be an assessors meeting and should find out how many assessors there will be. The planning and zoning report for November was distributed to the county as follows. Building permits for December 2021, agriculture 1, residential 3, wind towers 0, building permits for FY 2022, residential 3, ag 1, and wind tower 0. Building inspections for December was 50. Zoning Board of Appeals, December 28, 2021, William Hornbuckle and Brian Havens for a conditional use permit to manufacture, buy, and sell firearms. That's a correction, so C. This tract is located in Section 9, Sheldon Township, 29 North, Range 11 West of the 2nd Prime Meridian. The permanent identification number is 27-09-400-009. This tract is located at 1635 North, 2800 East Road, Sheldon, Illinois, 60966. William Hornbuckle and Brian Havens addressed the committee about starting an at-home business to buy and sell firearms. Hornbuckle stated it would run out of his detached garage and may look into doing some internet sales in the future. Wants to do firearm coding and transfers as well. Havens added it would provide a service to the community. State and federal laws require zoning before licenses to be issued. Roger Bard asked for the manufacturing to be defined. Havens explained that anytime parts that have serial numbers are combined with unserial numbered parts, it is considered to be manufactured. He went on to explain that in order to work on serial numbered parts, they would need the manufacturer's license. Supervisor of Assessments Bob Yergler added that state and federal follow-up with government follow up with his office every year to make sure zoning has not changed. McGinnis made the motion to approve William Hornbuckle and Brian Havens' conditional use application to buy and sell firearms. Curtis seconded the motion. A roll call vote was taken. Motion carried. Discussion on building permit enforcement, fines, and penalties was tabled until the next meeting. IDA Director Angel Crawford informed that a publication is in the works. McGinnis explained he needed some time to get caught up in order to move forward with assisting with this project. Discussion on publication of rural homesteads was tabled until the next meeting. County Clerk led a discussion on polling locations for the June 2022 election. She explained that 3, possibly 4 location moves will be permanent and a few other changes will be temporary. The changes are necessary to better accommodate voters. Some of the polling place changes include the following: Stockland from Town Hall to the Fire Department Annex Building, Beaver from Town Hall to the Community Building, Concord Township from Town Hall to the Dunning Park Building, Pigeon Grove from Village Hall to the American Legion Building. Curtis made the motion to adopt the resolution to approve the temporary and permanent polling place locations. McGinnis seconded the motion. A roll call vote was taken, motion carried. There is no old business, there's no new business. As no further business to come before the committee, it was moved by Curtis, seconded by McGinnis to adjourn at 10:05 a.m. Motion carried by a voice vote, all of which is respectfully submitted, and I move for its adoption.
There's a motion on the floor to approve the tax committee report. Is there a second? Mr. Bowers, are there any questions or comments regarding the report? Mrs. Grove?
Project Director Angel Crawford informed the committee that a publication is in the works. A publication for what?
The Rural Homestead to
Oh,
market the county hall. It was all in that arena.
Well, I see there was a discussion, but I
Yeah.
didn't know that's.
That's what it.
Are there any other questions or comments?
I just want to make a note that the Pigeon Grove polling place is going to remain at Village Hall. It's not being moved, which is reflected in the packets that out this resolution.
First we're approving the report, and then we'll get a motion for the resolution. If there's no further questions or comments on the report, the clerk will call the roll, please.
Curtis? Yes. Ducat?
Yes.
Hughes? McGinnis?
Yes.
Penny?
Yes.
Sure?
Yes.
Young?
Yes.
Zumwalt?
Yes.
Alt?
Yes.
Barron?
Yes.
Butcher?
Yes.
Bowers?
Yes.
And Crowe.
Yes.
Need a motion for the resolution?
No.
To make the motion or someone else?
Yeah. I move to adopt the resolution to establish the precincts with polling place changes of precincts Beaver, Concord, and Stockland to take effect for the primary election to be held on June 28th, 2022, and subsequent elections along with the polling place temporary changes, green, prairie, green, to take effect June 28th.
Okay, is there a second? Mrs. Zumwalt. Are there any questions or comments on this? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll.
Ducat?
Yes.
Hughes? McGinnis?
Yes.
Penny?
Yes.
Sure?
Yes.
Young?
Yes.
Zumwalt?
Yes.
Alt?
Yes.
Barron?
Yes.
Butcher?
Yes.
Bowers?
Yes.
Crowe?
Yes.
Curtis?
Okay, Judicial and Public Safety, Mr. Barron's.
Mr. Chairman and members of the county board, to create the rule of deferred judicial and public safety, we beg to leave to submit the following report on matters before the committee met at the courthouse on January 5, 2022 at 3 p.m. Members present were Barron, Boucher, Ducat, and Chad Davis was absent. Also present, county board chairman John Church, Sheriff Mr. D, probation supervisor Barb King, ETS director Eric Raymond, and finance manager Jill Johnson. Meeting was called to order, moved by David Finney, second by Paul Ducat, to approve the agenda, motion carried by voice vote. There were no public comments. Sheriff Mr. D presented his monthly report to the committee as follows. Transported 2 inmates to the Department of Corrections on December 23rd. Deputy Holt is progressing through field training and is currently on night shift, being supervised by Deputy Fowler. 43 arrest intakes. Current jail population is 15, 12 male, 3 female. On weekends, we had 3 weekenders, 2 male, 1 female, 1 on an ankle bracelet. Jail, 3 doctor, hospital emergency room visits this month, 3 mental health visits to the jail, 2 lab visits by Iroquois Memorial Hospital, 2 nurse visits every other Monday, 4 public health visits every Thursday, jail overtime for December was 196 hours, part-time jail hours for December was 18. 2 deputies are still on administrative leave due to officer-involved shooting until the completion of the investigation by Illinois State Police per policy. Due to the officer-involved shooting, there is a hold on Gilman's contract card and has been discussed with Gilman with the mayor. The sheriff is still providing Gilman with 10 hours of coverage on Friday nights. Sheriff informed the committee that he met with ICRMT, the county's liability and property insurance carrier. They discussed jail patrol policy updates. Training and other services are also available. Sheriff's year-end 2021 report included calls for service 9,299. Prisoners booked in, adult 558, juvenile 11, total 557. Average daily population 19. Average length of stay 18. Inmate transport to DOC 18. Inmates picked up at other counties 41. Civil process services 1,079. Tow reports 92. Accident reports 265. Offense reports 579. Probation Supervisor Bob King requested that BP be put on the approved list of prepaid claims. She explained that due to how BP processes their invoices, they always end up late. Finance Jill Johnson explained that BP is a credit card and all the fuel credit cards are on the list. I did not see an issue adding one King's request. Duco made the motion to include BP on the prepaid claims list for probation, and Bert Proctor seconded. Roll call vote was taken, motion carried. Probation support services activity report for December was reviewed with the committee. ETS Director Eric Raymond distributed his monthly ETS report to the committee. Raymond informed the committee that bids for the new phone system for ETSB are being sought out. A grant opportunity would include a flyover for the GIS map, which would also assist Iroquois County. Last flyover was in 2014, and it would be beneficial to have updated landmarks, buildings, and etc. to help assist with 911 calls. The ETS board is searching for individuals to serve on its board. There was no old business, there was no new business. The committee reviewed the claims. It was moved by Penny and seconded by Proctor to pay the judicial public safety claims subject to county board approval. Roll call vote was taken. As there was no further business to come before the committee, it was moved by Duco and seconded by Proctor to adjourn the meeting at 3:24 p.m. Roll call vote was taken. Motion carried. All which is respectfully submitted, and I move for its adoption.
There's a motion on the floor to approve the Judicial and Safety Committee report. Is there a second? Mr. Hughes. Are there any questions or comments regarding the report? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll, please.
Hughes, McGinnis,
Yes.
Penny,
Yes.
Sure,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Zumwalt,
Yes.
Alt,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Bodger,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Crowe, Curtis, Ducat.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, Finance Committee, Mr. Young.
Mr. Chairman and members of County Board, your committee to whom was referred Finance IT was begged to submit the following report on the matters before them. Your committee met at the Administrative Center on January 11th, 2022 at 9 a.m. Members present were all Bowers, Curtis, and Young. Steve Hughes, Sherry Johnson, and Michael McTaggart were absent. Also present, County Board Chairman John Scher, Finance Manager Jill Johnson, County Clerk Brian Suber, Treasurer Kurt Albers, ETS Director Eric Raymond, Myron Munyon with Compass Insurance, Susie Warner with Homestar Insurance, and Michael Tabor with Area Wide Technologies. The meeting was called to order. It was moved by Bowers and seconded by Curtis to approve the agenda. Motion carried on a voice vote. There were no public comments. Myron Munyon with Compass Insurance reported that it's going well with the new liability, property, and worker compensation carrier. Illinois County's Risk Management Trust has been in contact with Finance Manager Jill Johnson and Sheriff Clint Brzee. ICRMT is currently reviewing the county's policies and should be issued shortly. Susie Warner with Homestar Insurance reported that the switch from Health Alliance Health Insurance to Blue Cross Blue Shield went smooth. Health Alliance has sent BCBS the deduction report in order to credit deductibles for December due to BCBS using the calendar year. I want to inform the committee that the transitional credit from BCBS should appear on the January invoice. Michael Tabor with Area-Wide Technologies gave his report as follows. Area-Wide Technologies reviewed the county's systems and contacted the software vendors for any vulnerabilities. Tabor informed the committee that all updates have been completed. Quotes on the SAN server, backup server, and battery backups are being prepared. These items were approved in the FY 2022 budget. The courthouse phone system is being tested on Monday, January 10th. Johnson included that Rooter Technologies will be doing training on the new system at the courthouse on Friday, January 7th. It was noted that a plan of action should be discussed in case of a connection failure. The department heads gave their monthly reports. They are as follows. County Clerk Brian Suber presented the new county board district maps that were created by Bruce Harrison Associates, the county GIS vendor. She explained that there will be more layers added onto the GIS map, including county board, congressional district, and state house and senate layers. Supervisor of Assessments Bob Yerler has agreed to pay for this project from the GIS funds. Suber explained that there has been an issue with the recording computer in the county clerk's office. Computer is having memory issues and is being assessed by Area-Wide Technologies. Petition circulation will begin January 13th, and there are packets ready and available in the county clerk's office for those who wish to run in the upcoming elections. Treasurer Kurt Albert reported that the office is working on cleaning out old files and preparing for the new year. Sheriff Clint Brzee reported to the committee that overtime was down for the previous month. There are still 2 deputies out on administrative leave for the officer-involved shooting. This led to the Gilman contract car to be put on hold. The sheriff is still providing Gilman with 10 hours on Friday nights per the understanding of the Gilman mayor. Brzee explained to the committee that the Department of Corrections sent out a contract for reimbursement costs relating to housing inmates. They are offering $35 per day, and there may be a small possibility for more funds in the future. Lastly, Sheriff read over the department year-end report for 2021. ETS Director Eric Raymond reported that 911 is currently seeking out bids for a new phone system and also the GIS flyover. He explained that both of these projects would be funded by a Next Gen 911 grant, which is due at the end of the month of January. County Board Chairman mentioned to the committee that UCCI sent out the check for the $1,200 in dues. Due to being with ICRMT, the UCCI dues are going to only be $300. Finance Manager Joe Johnson reported the following. County Board received the invoice from ICRMT in the amount of $21,742.50 for liability and property and $9,933.39 for workers' comp. IT, the SAN, Firewall, and Dell annual renewal quotes were received. Animal control deposit was $5,200 for the month of December. Finance, auditors were on site at the administrative building towards the end of December and are coming out again the week of January 11th. Their focus will be on the circuit clerk's office. The committee reviewed the claims. It was moved by Bowers and seconded by Curtis to pay the claims, subject to county board approval. A roll call vote was taken. Motion carried. There was no old business. In new business, Joe Young expressed the need to show some appreciation to the Sheriff's Department. Sure stressed that focus needed to be on having discussions with any contacts of influence. Sheriff explained that rules put into place since the COVID-19 virus are very frustrating to law enforcement officers. One made a motion to prepare a resolution in order to show appreciation to the Sheriff's Department, and it was seconded by Curtis. Motion carried by a voice vote. As there was no further business to come before the committee, it was moved by Curtis and seconded by Bowers to adjourn at 9:37 a.m. Motion carried by a voice vote, all of which is respectfully submitted, and I move for its adoption.
There's a motion on the floor to approve the Finance Committee report. Is there a second? Mr. Bowers. Are there any questions or comments regarding the report? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll.
McGinnis,
Yes.
Henny, Sure,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Zumwalt,
Yes.
Alt, Barron,
Yes.
Botcher. Bowers.
Yes.
Crowe. Curtis. Ducat.
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, next is the Arpa Committee report. Mr. Ducat.
Mr. Chairman, members of the County Board Committee to whom is referred, American Rescue Plan Act will beg leave to submit the following report. The matter before the committee met at the Administrative Center December 14, 2021 at 1 p.m. Members present for Ducat, Crowe, Awful, and Sure. Also present, Finance Manager Jill Johnson, Sheriff Brzee, County Clerk Suver, Coroner Cheatham, Treasurer Alberts, ETSB Director Raymond, IT Director Crawford, County Board Member Young, and Sheldon Township Supervisor Terry Mabbitt. The meeting was called to order. It was moved by Sure and seconded by Barb Awful to approve the agenda. Motion carried by a voice vote. There were no public comments. Finance Manager Jill Johnson reviewed the applications that have been submitted to the committee thus far. Going forward, Johnson will email all the applicants to the committee members for review prior to the meeting. There is followed. Ford Iroquois 4-H Foundation Incorporated requesting $18,600. The Ford Iroquois 4-H Foundation holds an annual auction to help support Ford and Iroquois 4-H programs. The auction has been canceled 2 years in a row due to COVID. Canceling these auctions has caused them to lose over $30,000 in revenue over the last 2 years. The funding requested will be used to make a difference in local 4-H youth programs for over 450 Iroquois 4-H members. St. Mary's Cemetery Association is requesting $10,000 for mower replacement and repairs and replacement on many of the 100-plus-year-old headstones. It was noted that St. Mary's Cemetery is the only active cemetery in Beaverville Township and is non-tax supported. Funding for maintenance is from donations from church members and ancestors of previously interned church members. Grave sales and also a part of income. During the pandemic, church attendees and donations will have decreased. Iroquois County Clerk is requesting $500,000 for the purchase of election equipment. Funds in the amount of $49,736.40 was received from the CARES Act grant, but were not able to be used for the election equipment. Iroquois County Clerk is requesting $76,728.50 for microfilm conversion of documents for online access from 1980 to 1989. Iroquois County Sheriff's Department is requesting $4,500 for a standalone audio and video recording room at the Iroquois County Sheriff's Department. This would benefit the Sheriff's Office, jail, and other local police departments and agencies needing to utilize the facility. The interview room would assist investigating and assist in investigations, providing the state's attorneys with quality evidence for the cases brought to the courts. Iroquois County Sheriff's Department is requesting $18,095.46 to install video equipment, and the Iroquois County Courthouse and jail will allow for video court and telehealth. Equipment would reduce the need for arrestees to be transferred to the court and doctor appointments. Iroquois County Sheriff's Department is requesting $24,924 to install Sloan Electric flush sensors in all the toilets in the administrative building, courthouse, and jail. Install LK water fountains, including water bottle filters, at the administrative building and courthouse. Install no-touch door foot poles on all the bathroom doors in the administrative building, courthouse, and jail. Iroquois County Sheriff's Department is requesting $258,720.60 for a complete CAD, JMS records and report writing system by Central Square. This would assist Iroquois County in many ways, including dispatching EMA, police, fire, EMS, mapping, jail management, records, and civil process police reports. Iroquois County Sheriff's Department is requesting $136,698.12 for a full-body X-ray scanner with a temperature scanner. This would be a very useful addition to the Iroquois County Jail and would reduce liability in many ways. The temperature scanner is used when arrestees are brought into the Iroquois County Jail to ensure they have not ingested or secreted contraband items and body orifices. The anti-X-ray scanner will also scan the arrestee's temperature prior to the scan. Iroquois County Sheriff's Department is requesting $150,000 for payment to essential workers who work in any capacity for the Iroquois County Sheriff's Office. These officers have been diligent and have risked their health while placing themselves in dangerous situations. The Sheriff's Office has continued to provide 24-hour services to Iroquois County with no shutdowns or closures. The employees' selfless actions during this pandemic should be commended and compensated. In regards to payment for essential workers, County Board Chairman John Scher questioned whether Brzee should be applying for these funds or if the request should come from the FOP union. Brzee said a conversation was held with the FOP representative, Jeff Burke. Mr. Burke advised the Sheriff's Department to apply for the funds as other county sheriff's departments are doing the same. Johnson suggested the committee implement an amount either countywide or to have an individual departments submit their own applications for payment for essential workers. Sure also reminded the committee of the many part-time employees on payroll and whether this funding should include them. County Clerk Brianne added that Macon County passed a resolution for their Arpa funds that included 2 tiers for premium pay to employees. Coroner Cheatham asked that his duties, which are part-time employees, be considered for premium pay. They were in the homes of many people with COVID-19. Johnson reported she is working on the application for the animal control law. Sure stressed the urgency for the election equipment applied for the county clerk's office. Sure has asked Suber for a timeline and when he needs approval for the ordering and if the equipment needs paid in advance. The next step for the committee members is to do a full review of each application. Donna Crow offered a suggestion of accepting applications for 3 months before approving any applications. The next Arpa meeting will be held January 7th at 10 a.m. There was no old business. During the new business, Cheatham informed the committee he'll be submitting an application for the replacement of a cooler facility. As there was no further business to come before the committee, it was moved by Charlie Alt and seconded by Crow to adjourn at 2:42 p.m. Motion was carried by a voice vote, which is all respectfully submitted, and I move for its adoption. You want to go to the next one? Mr. Chairman and members of the county board and committee to whom was referred, Arpa would beg to leave submit the following report on the matters before them. The committee met at the Administrative Center on January 7, 2022 at 10 a.m. Members present were Recap, Alt, Crow, Scher. Alta was absent. Also present was Member Young, Finance Manager Johnson, County Clerk Suber, ETS Director Raymond, Judge Bartucci, County Clerk Alberts. I'm gonna chop some names up. Pete Jelinski, with Rap Assembly Incorporated, John Marzuda with Addiction Recovery Services, Michael Lenz with RVCClean.org, Laura Lenz, Jeff Lynn, and with Eastern Illinois Mutual Aid Fire Association, Larry Decker with the City of Danforth, and Greg Schroeder with the City of Danforth. To me, it was called to order. It was moved by Charlie Alt and seconded by Donna Crow to approve the agenda. Motion carried by a voice vote. There were no public comments. Crow spoke to the committeeman about some changes she wanted to see on the ARPA application. Crow made the motion to include a print name line under the applicant's signature line on the ARPA application. Alt seconded the motion. Motion carried by a voice vote. Crow made the motion to include the ARPA application if an applicant received any federal funding that they included if it had all been allocated. Sure seconded the motion. A roll call vote was taken. Motion carried. Finance Manager Johnson explained that the application 1 through 10 were previously reviewed at the December 14th ARPA meeting. The committee started their review of the applications number 11. She also explained that any representative that would like to speak to their application. Applications were reviewed as follows. Rapid Assembly Reporter was represented by Pete Jelinski explained that the amount requested was $48,000 was to assist employees due to lack of work. Sure had asked how the amount requested was decided. Jelinski explained that the amount requested is what would help his employees. Finance Manager Johnson requested that Jelinski provide a narrative about his business and how the business was affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. She also informed him that the financials would need to be provided and give an example of a profit and loss report. Iroquois County Public Defender's Office application was reviewed by Johnson. The amount requested was $19,000. Narrative explained that the funds would be used to purchase 2 laptops, essential worker pay, and for office space at the Iroquois County Courthouse. The ARPA committee had questions, and the Iroquois County Public Defender's Office will be contacted for the following. Is the request for laptops and office space determined by the chief judge? How is their process currently being done? Would telehealth or telecourt be able to be utilized by the public defender if the application would be approved? Additional narrative explanation was requested as to how laptops and office space would help to mitigate the future. Judge Bartucci explained that while the public defender and clients are at the courthouse, the use of the jury rooms is available when there is not a jury questionnaire, and while at the jail, they also have space available for meetings. Addiction Recovery Incorporated application for the amount of $500,000 was presented by John Marzukis, Director of Business and Development. Marzukis explained that the Addiction Recovery Services Incorporated is a behavioral health care practice that aids in the mental health and substance abuse services. He explained that through telehealth, they are currently assisting throughout Iroquois County. Marzukis explained that it was noticed since the COVID-19 pandemic a need to identify a need for the treatment. He explained that people stopped going to treatment. He stated the research to find that the need for treatment is on the rise. The funds requested are to be used for a location of staffing costs. He explained that many of the clients that were served were not able to pay for the services, and the income they received prevents them from turning to banks for the funds. The expansion to Iroquois County includes a big focus on, I think it's on the opioid epidemic. Additional Recovery Incorporated would concentrate on researching the users and assist with any education or intervention needed to be proactive. Marzukis informed the committee that a location has been identified, and he hopes that if the funds are granted, it would create jobs. Addiction Recovery Services Incorporated has to be telehealth ready. This creates a potential to have services available to persons in case of future shutdowns. Funds were previously received by the 708 board in the amount of $200,000, which has been allocated. Marzukis stated that they are currently licensed in the city of Chicago and need to have a location in Iroquois County in order to obtain a license. Crow identified after the grant, Addiction Recovery Services would have to be able to sustain on its own. Marzukis verified that there would be a venue stream that would pay for the costs after and funds granted by the county were expunged. RBCClean.org withdrew their application request. Laura Lenz requested for $10,000 to make repairs to a rental occupied by a low-income senior citizen. It was explained that she could not evict the previous tenant due to COVID-19, and the house was left in disrepair. The committee requested the following for the application: to provide a written narrative explaining in detail the reason behind the requested amount, to provide financials to back up the rental income lost. The Village of Clifton requesting $260,000 to replace transit water mains. The village is to be contacted with the following: to provide a written narrative explaining in detail the reasoning behind the request amount and how it will help to mitigate in the future, where all the funds are already granted, allocated, to provide any quotes or invoices. 19. Prairie View Lutheran Homes requests $500,000 for COVID-19 prevention and mitigation. The request for funds would allow for them to finish or purchase the following: finishing a sunroom in the amount of $100,000, an office remodel in the amount of $175,000, furniture replacement in the amount of $50,000, purchase of PPE and electronic devices in the amount of $50,000, negative pressure rooms in the amount of $50,000, assist with employment costs in the amount of $175,000, to have a representative present to clarify questions. The committee will have it at the next meeting. Chairman Duque asked to review the application number 6 for the Iroquois County Sheriff received request to telehealth and telecourt. Judge Bartucci was present for further discussion how the project would assist the courts as well. She explained the less exposure from the inmates and correctional officers would help not spread any illness such as COVID-19 virus in the Iroquois County courthouse as well as other county courthouses. It was noted that services such as Addiction Recovery Incorporated would be benefited by this project. Sure inquired about the recently state-passed SAFE Act and if it has any effect on the use of the telehealth or telecourt. It was explained by Bertucci that they have yet to have a determination of how the new act would affect Iroquois County inmate population and the effectiveness of telehealth and telecourt. It is believed by some that it would decrease the population, but also there may be an increase due to the court's options being limited. Sure also inquired as to how this would decrease costs inquired, and Bertucci explained that when an inmate needs to be at court physically, they have to be accompanied by a correctional officer. When an inmate needs to be brought to the courthouse or transferred, an additional officer has to be available to watch over the jail. Number 20. The Iroquois County Treasurer Kurt Albert's application for additional security devices at the Administration Center. The Treasurer was asked to provide the following information. Narrative as how the request is related to the effective or future mitigation of any shutdowns, include the annual additional costs would be paid for. Eastern Illini Mutual Aid Fire Association application for a building purchase. The building would be utilized as a centralized training center and storage facility. The requested amount is for $350,000. Crow spoke on the importance of having something like this project and would benefit the county. Jeff Flynn, president of Eastern Illinois Mutual Aid Fire Association, told the committee that there is a building available for purchase that is centrally located in the county. He explained that this purchase would be an advantage to all the fire departments in Iroquois County. They currently have a command post safety education trailer, mobile disaster shelter, incident management supply trailer, utility vehicle, a trailer, and a portable light power. All equipment has been utilized within the county in times of floods, missing persons, assist the hospitals, field fires, fire safety education in schools. Since the COVID-19 pandemic, Flynn stressed the importance of combined training between fire, emergency medical services, police, and the EMA. He explained that many personnel have been exposed and that they have had to redesign how each situation is handled. A commercial sprayer is used every time to help disinfect all vehicles and equipment. Many of the firehouses in the county do not have room to disinfect properly due to the equipment needing to be spread out, cleaned thoroughly, and dried. Finance Manager Johnson asked if the association would have the funds to pay for the costs beyond the Arpa funds. Glenn explained that they would afford the utility and other costs going forward. By having the equipment stored inside and centrally located would allow for all departments to use and also keep the equipment out of the weather. Most of the equipment currently sits outside. Crow commended departments for what they have had to encounter with COVID-19. 22. The Village of Danforth put in an application to repair a water main and to complete a loop for proper distribution. The request is for $30,000 to finish a project. Larry Decker and Greg Schober were present to discuss the application. Decker explained that a quote for $23,000 was received and the request was made to cover costs on any overhead costs. The Village of Danforth had a second application to assist in the cost of replacing the water meters. The request is in the amount of $40,000. Decker explained that the village received ARPA funds in the amount of $75,041.21 as they are being allocated to purchase water meters. Johnson requested the Village of Danforth's financials to complete the application. The Village of Monarga's application is in the amount of $49,300 is to replace a sewage grinder or sewage grinders. The committee requested the following information: provide financials, if they received ARPA funds, how they're allocated, a narrative as to how the project would help mitigate the future. 25. The Village of Monarga applied for $45,600 to make downtown and municipality sidewalks handicap accessible. The committee requested the following information: to provide financials, if they received ARPA funds, how they were allocated, a narrative as to how the project would be mitigated in the future. 27. Health Check Health Coaching Incorporated applied for a $45,000 small business economic assistance. Crow noted that a Paycheck Protection Program loan was received. The committee requested the additional information as there was not a representative present. To provide financials, how much received in PPP funding, what the funds requested would be used for, a narrative as to how the project would help mitigate in the future or in any recovery from the COVID-19 pandemic. It was moved by Duque, seconded by Crow, to enter into the executive session at 12:05 p.m. under the statute 5 ILCS 120-2/CL. The appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of public employees of the public body. A roll call vote was taken, motion carried. It was moved by Dukenyak, second by Alta, come out of executive session at 2:07 PM. A roll call vote was taken, motion carried. After further discussion of the applications received and reviewed, the following motions were made. The chair made the motion to adopt a resolution approving Fort Iroquois 4-H Foundation Incorporated Arpa application in the amount of $18,600 to provide funding for the 4-H enrollment fees. Crowe seconded the motion. Roll call vote was taken. Motion carried. Crowe made a motion to adopt a resolution approving the Iroquois County Sheriff's Association of the Sheriff's American Rescue Plan Act application in the amount of $18,095.46 for video court and telehorse. Sheriff seconded the motion. A roll call vote was taken. Motion carried. Dukenyak made a motion to adopt a resolution approving the Iroquois County Sheriff's American Rescue Plan in the amount of $136,698.12 for a full body X-ray scanner. Crowe seconded the motion. Roll call vote was taken. Motion carried. Dukenyak made the motion to adopt a resolution approving the Eastern Illinois Mutual Aid Fire Association's American Rescue Plan Act application in the amount of $350,000 for a multi-use facility to be used for training and storage. Crowe seconded the motion. A roll call vote was taken. Motion carried. There was no old business, there was no new business, as there was no further business to come before the committee. It was moved by Charlie Ott, second by John Short, to adjourn at 2:37 PM. Motion carried by voice vote. All was submitted and asked for adoption.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to approve both reports. Do we have a second? Mr. Young seconds. Are there any questions or comments? Mrs. Crowe?
In report 2 from January, on the last page, Crowe made the motion to adopt the resolution to approve the video court and telehealth plan. I'd like to move that we separate that for, remove it for separate consideration next month.
Okay. Is there a second to that motion? Mr. Penny? Are there any questions or comments regarding the motion to separate out that paragraph on the last page regarding the video court and telehealth? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll.
Penny,
Yes.
Sure,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Zumwalt,
Yes.
Alt,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Botter,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Crowe,
Yes.
Curtis,
Yes.
Dukenyak,
Yes.
Hughes,
Yes.
and McGinnis.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, that motion passes. Now for the rest of the two reports, are there any questions or comments? Mr. Bowers?
Yes, has anybody added all this up to see how much we got?
Yeah, we're going through it.
I'm sorry, I can't hear that.
Yes, we're going through it. We got a little over 3 million right now, and I should say, in interested applications.
We only have half of it that's been given to us. The other half comes later this year, so we cannot, you're right, we cannot overspend.
Right.
We're being very careful about that. Mrs. Crowe?
I can't find my calendar right now, but just because we have interested parties, could we announce the date of the next meeting? I can't find my list of dates.
January 21st, yeah. 10:30.
January 21st?
At 10:30 on January 21st. Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll, please.
Sure,
Yes.
Young,
Yes.
Zumwalt,
Yes.
Alt,
Yes.
Barron,
Yes.
Botter,
Yes.
Bowers,
Yes.
Crowe,
Yes.
Curtis, Dukenyak,
Yes.
Hughes, McGinnis,
Yes.
and Penny.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, Transportation and Highway, Mr. All.
Chairman, members of the county board. committee only referred traffic taken and highway peg leave to the following report and matters before them. The committee minutes here, Lake County Highway Building on January 7th, 2022 at 9 a.m. Members present were all Crowe, Ducat, Young, and Zumwalt. All present. County Board Chairman John Scher, County Engineer Joel Moore, and Finance Manager Phil Johnson were also there. Meeting was called to order. There was no public comment. It was moved by Crowe and seconded by Young to approve the agenda. Motion carried by voice vote. The claims and financial reports for the month were reviewed. It was moved by Ducat and seconded by Zumwalt to pay the bills subject to county board approval. Roll call vote was taken, motion carried. County Highway, $64,581. County Bridge, $17,480. County Matching, $7,849. TVP, $51,470. County MFT, $24,031. Township MFT, $7,141. County Engineer Moore reviewed the revenues with the committee. He explained that the tax court system is used to issue overweight permits. There are persons that do not apply for no right permit that should be, but we're pleased that application numbers are improving. The stock of box cover is being improved on, and the cost is being split with them. County will pay for half of the project, and is estimated to be the cost of $60,000. The project will be paid out of county board fund. Crowe made a motion to adopt a resolution for improvements to the Stockton box culvert. Ducat second motion, carried move. Excuse me. Motion carried by roll call vote. Or inform the committee that the general maintenance study is going to be held February 22, 2022 at Highway Building. In new business, County Board Chairman John Scher informed the committee that a resolution was passed at the Finance Committee to show appreciation to the Sheriff's Department. Scher also commented more on the impressive lineup of equipment, how the equipment department is being managed. There was no new business, as there was no further business to come before the committee. Was moved by Young and second by Zumwalt to adjourn at 9:20. Motion carried by voice vote. All revisions respectively submitted and move the acceptance of this report.
Motion on the floor to approve the highway department report. Is there a second? Mr. Young. Are there any questions or comments regarding the report? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll, please.
Young.
Yes.
Zumwalt.
Yes.
Alt.
Yes.
Barron.
Yes.
Boucher. Bowers.
Yes.
Crowe.
Yes.
Curtis.
Yes.
Ducat.
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
McGinnis.
Yes.
Penny.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, next are appointments. You have listed on the agenda in front of you appointments for the Ets Board and the IMH Board. We have a motion to approve those appointments. Mr. Bowers, is there a second? Mr. Ducat. Are there any questions or comments regarding the appointments? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Appointments are passed. Everybody was sent copies of the claims. We have a motion to approve the claims. Mr. Zumwalt, seconded by Mr. Ducat. Are there any questions or comments regarding the claims? Seeing none, the clerk will call the roll, please.
Zumwalt.
Yes.
Alt.
Yes.
Barron.
Yes.
Boucher. Bowers.
Yes.
Crowe.
Yes.
Curtis. Did you say yes, Ernie? I'm sorry. Okay, sorry. Ducat.
Yes.
Hughes.
Yes.
McGinnis.
Yes.
Penny.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
Young.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, is there any old business to come before the board this morning? Is there any new business to come before the board? Is there a a motion to adjourn? Mr. Hall? Is there a second? Mr. Duquette? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Meeting is adjourned.